Happy New Year to you. It's our first time talking to you on the air since the new year. And even though we hear your voice every day when we play the get out the vote message, but we decided to have you on this morning, sir, to ask you a few questions about specifically about the situation with the legislature. There was a motion filed or made by Representative Prince Moi that they summon you to appear before the legislature over this whole issue. What do you have to say about that, sir?
Oh, Henry, first of all, I'd like to say good morning to you and the rest of your staff at this station this morning. And also I'd like to use this opportunity to speak to the Liberian people. I don't want to emphasize a lot on this alleged request by the legislator to appear before them. The first thing here, Henry, is that, it's unfortunate that we will have unscrupulous people using the life and the welfare of the Liberian people to make political mileage. The fact that you had mentioned on the show that we will be asked to appear, I think today at the legislature, is far-fetched because I have not personally received any communication to appear, today. But even in the instance where I appear in the future, I want to say here that it's unfortunate that people don't even comprehend the operations of a private company in this country. The chairman of the board, he does not run the company. In fact, we meet usually 2 or 3 times a year. These annual meetings, we don't determine the day-to-day operations of the company.
You as board chairman?
It's unfortunate that people will not comprehend the situation. But there's some very good people. I'm sure the speaker is very educated and he has a lot of experience. He would not allow himself to be influenced by people who lack the basic knowledge about the operation of a business. But that's not my issue here this morning, Henry. My issue here is simple. It was not one commodity that taxes were levied against. Taxes were levied on a listing of commodities: water, soft drinks, beer, telephone calls, etc. And not only were these taxes levied on these commodities, but it was the budget was prepared based on collections from these taxes, these taxes that were supposed to be levied. Now, my point here is, so are you saying that Benoni, Urey, or Lone Star were actually involved in the levying of taxes on water, on club beer, or on soft drinks? That's the basic question I have to ask. Look, but we must stop playing with the lives of our people. The fact of the matter here is the House of Representatives, has the right to levy taxes or remove taxes. So let's stop joking around here. If you are against the taxes, cancel it, or levy another taxes that will eliminate it. Or don't start playing the blame game, calling people to testify before you, you know, and all of that. It's your responsibility. So let's not play the blame game. If you say the taxes are not in the interest of the Liberian people, cancel it and let's move ahead. You know, but we must stop trying, you know, to blame other people, you know, for what we have done. Look, the Liberian people are suffering. When one sit and think about the daunting position of this economy, and when one sit, you know, and think about how much the Liberian people are suffering, you know, we get angry. Because, you know, it's not time to play around with people's lives. It's time for us to move forward. And, you know, I want to use this opportunity to speak to the House of Representatives, to tell them, in the interest of the Liberian people, you know, these taxes that have been levied on the people are extremely high. Take, for example, that which was levied on water. Water is a necessity for life in Liberia. Mm-hmm. And it's a responsibility of the government to have safe drinking water for its people. And in the instance where she cannot, if private people are trying to augment what they're doing, I think it's wrong for the people of Liberia to be paying taxes. Water is life. The people in Liberia must live. So we're saying here, stop playing with the lives of the Liberian people. Just cancel that tax. And if any of the rest, look, and the other thing is the taxes, the additional taxes that have been levied on beer and stout and soft drink.
And
look, the Liberian people are suffering, Henry. They're suffering. The most they can get out of life, they don't have nowhere to go for recreation. The most they can get out of life is after work, on the way home, they stop and they have a bottle of cold beer where they can move all the troubles from this abhorrent Liberia. Drink a little bottle of beer and go home and sleep peacefully. If you want to take that away from them, I'm saying you're wrong. I'm saying you're wrong. So if these people want to do anything for the Liberian people, stop fooling around. Just levy new taxes that will eliminate the old one that the people of Liberia are crying for. You know, and then we can move ahead. Look, right now, I'm around the country trying to see how I can get Liberians to come out and register to vote. They need to do what they have to do to ensure that the Liberian people will vote for them. If not, the Liberian people will not vote for them. They can play all the blame games. You know, they can talk. In fact, what I want you to also know, Henry, is the 1 for 3 is not canceled. It still exists. But the 1 for 3 has changed a little because the company cannot afford to pay a large amount of money to the government in taxes. So the 1 for 3 still exists, but it's limited. You have limited amount of calls for 3 days. Okay. So if the government, and which includes the legislative branch of government, decides that these taxes are wrong, they have the authority and the ability to levy new taxes.
And they can repeal their decision. That's what you're saying.
Precisely. Yeah. So, I mean, this is the fact of the matter. Look, I'm not going to even bother with the discussion of a letter because every and Liberian, you know, who listen to this radio or any other radio station knows that only the two branches of government can levy taxes on an income other. Look, it's like what they say. I listened to something where somebody talked about Lone Star advised them wrongly. You know, when you have public hearing, you invite people to give their opinion, and you look at what everybody has said, and you make your decision.
You make the final decision yourself.
Precisely. So, if Lone Star was invited, what do I have to do with that? Okay.
And you are not the one that went there.
I wasn't the one that you know, I've not appeared ever before this body. And what do I have to do with that? And the second thing, even if Lone Star was invited, their opinion is not law and gospel. The opinion is what they think. And it's up to you to accept it. And what I understand, Lone Star was invited, Sophie was invited. You know, the fact of the matter here is that they should have taken, you know, what the Liberian Telecommunication Authority said. It's LTA who they should be cited to the hearing and dealing with them, because if I was president of this country and something of this nature happened, I would have dismissed the head of LTA. I would dismiss her because this whole industry, the last standing industry in Liberia, is the telecommunication industry. And this thing has been mismanaged. It has been abused. People accepting bribes from one company to the other. It is just wrong. It needs to stop. And the government, you know, must stop what is happening.
Okay. So, Mr. Urey, in other words, you're saying that because you were never invited before the legislature, you had never testified before them on this matter, so you're the wrong person for them to summon. So as such, you are not going to go because there's nothing you know about.
No. Let me correct you, Henry. I have not received an invitation to come, and I don't think the speaker will sign a document or anybody with any good reason to request my presence there. I mean, if they want my technical advice, they can call me, and I will be more than happy to do it. You know, because this is the highest branch of government in the country. We will all respect them. You know, but they have not invited me. I've seen no communication, and I don't think they will, because if they need a technical advice, they will call Lone Star. You know, but I'm not at liberty to represent Lone Star. Look, I'm only a part. Me or somebody related to me is only a partial owner of Lone Star. We do not even own the majority shares in Lone Star. We do not make the final decision in Lone Star. You know, even at the board level, we do not make the final decision because we are a minority.
Based on votes, right?
Yeah, we are minority on the board. You know, so I mean, I'm sure the speaker knows better, but I hope some of these other people who are misinforming him, he will sit with them and school them in some of these things, that they don't be making all these foolish remarks all around. You know, but, you know, we're going to continue helping out. In fact, Liberia knows that I was the only political leader that spoke out against the increase in or the vice political leader rather, who spoke out against the increase in the price of water. Okay, and I mentioned that it was the wrong thing then to do. I call on the government to rescind that decision, you know, and they have done nothing about it. The people continue to pay more for water that the government should be providing.
Mr. Urey, let me ask you a question. You're running for president, and if elected, And the reason all these taxes were levied or increased, all these increments were made, was to ensure that the big budget the government has, most of which they spend on themselves. What would you do with all this big budget, the high salaries they have, the many commissions and agencies and all over the place, just to support them? What would you do? Would you keep squeezing the Liberian people just like them to raise money to support your government?
We'll find ourselves in a precarious situation, a dangerous situation, and I'm sorry to say, I don't think the government have the people with the requisite skills and experience to handle these situations. The first thing is, if you read history of the world and you read economics, finance and management, it will tell you in a situation where the economy is in trouble as it is in Liberia today, one will not increase taxes, but rather the government should be lowering taxes and giving businesses the incentives to remain open. The government should be taking measures that will ensure that the country and the people of Liberia continue to survive. Look, but creating the government must create an enabling environment for people to do business.
Increasing taxes at this time is completely wrong. The government must curtail her expenditures, Costa. She needs to cut down on her expenditure, cut down on salaries, do some concrete things that will ensure that the people of Liberia continue to survive. But nothing. How can you be increasing salaries for only a small percentage of the population of Liberia at
by
this time?
$31 million, Mr. Urey. They increased the salaries for the top people by $31 million.
This is being so unkind to the people of Liberia. It's being so unkind, and then you have the nerve to try to blame it on a letter. Look, it's unbelievable. But the good thing about it, we're not even going to discuss the telecommunication aspect of it. Let's discuss other commodities that are more essential to life than that. Water. You must move the taxes off water. You must do it. How can you say you love Liberia and its people and you do this to the people of Liberia? How can you?
Okay.
How can they in the House of Representatives pass this into law to the people you are representing, and to the people you're supposed to love? And do you expect that these people will look at you favorably at the next election?
Well, the speaker says that he asked the Liberian people to send them back because they have a lot of experience. But Honorable Urey, thank you so much for your time this morning. Is there anything else you'd like to touch on before we take leave of you?
No, I want to also use this opportunity to call on the Liberian people. I know that it's disgruntled. We have voters fatigue. I mean, we have all these things against us. But I want to call on the Liberian people. I want to join the voice of the chairman of the Election Commission and the good people of Liberia and plead with them to please come out and register. And I want to also use this opportunity to tell them to, no matter what anybody say, or no matter what they do to you, be calm, be peaceful, be law-abiding, and let's hold on until October this year when we will have election.
Okay. Thank you very much there. That's the voice of Honorable Benani Urey. He's the political leader of the All Liberian Party, responding to the couple of things, among which are the